Hail, the gang's all here.
There it is.
Oh, there we go. We got a good reaction.
Smile.
So,
It's right. That is gonna
welcome.
go.
Welcome.
I'm very happy.
I'm glad we could proclaim you in such a honorable manner.
Thank you.
I'm so happy. I seen your face.
I'm so happy that you just radiating exuberance.
Story we'll have to tell.
Yeah. There you go.
Yep.
Well, welcome to the podcast, Deacon Chris Holcomb and Deacon Peter Jutras. We're so glad that you can join us today, finally.
Yes.
After,
We're gonna.
I think for you.
yes, for all around, claps all around.
Please. That's
So yeah.
So,
yo clap. This one. There you go.
just golf clap. There you go. So great to have you on the podcast. Would you mind sharing with our viewers a little bit about yourselves, how you came to seminary, what it's been like these years?
Should start because he got to seminary a year before I did.
Very important. Yes. Yes. And age before beauty? No, beauty before age. There we go.
Well, it's debatable.
So, yeah, no. So I was. So we're both from the Diocese of Pensacola-Tallahassee. I grew up there. I was born up in Virginia. Then we moved to Orlando when I was about 5, and when I was 10, we moved. So my family moved to Pensacola. So that was our. Since then, we've been in Pensacola and living there, and it's been a lot of fun. Love it. Such a good place. I'm so excited to get back home.
Amen.
So yeah, since I was little, I've been thinking about priesthood. Like since Orlando, since I was like 6 or 7. I remember the one day during Mass, the priest was giving the homily, and he was mentioned that he's like, started hitting the ambo while I was giving the homily, and he says we need more priests in our diocese. And I sat there, I was like, oh, okay, cool. Do it. Okay, be a priest. Yeah, that's it. That's the plan. And since then, it's always been in the back of my head that it was like, okay, you could be a priest, you could. And as throughout middle school, high school, college, it was always there, and it was always present. And eventually, I was like, okay, if I don't, after college, as I was graduating, I figured, okay, if I don't give this a try now, like this is gonna stay here for the rest of my life. So I gotta give seminary a shot. And since then, I figured it was just going to be like 2 years. Like I'd go in for 2 years, you go to Jesus boot camp. And you leave.
That's another name for it.
Exactly, yeah. So then I'd be right back to where I was when I graduated college. This is perfect.
You gave it a shot.
I've had a degree. I get it now. I can go out and do work and do whatever I want to do. And look how far he's gotten you. Every year I look back, I'm like, is this really what I wanted? Am I happier? Is God with me? Do the people love me? And every year it's just like, yes, yes, yes. Yes, yes, yes. And after every year, it's like, oh, Cam, I've had so much fun being here and doing this, and love the church, love the guys here. It's really just fantastic. So that's my story in a nutshell.
There you go.
And you're sticking to it. Listen, that's it. That's the one.
You're very succinct. I appreciate that. I'll try to be brief as well. So
Please take your time, Chris.
I probably first felt a call when I was a little kid. I remember playing Mass with my sister. She's about 10 years older than I am. And we dressed up in a bathrobe, and we had crushed some bread. And
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I did the same.
typical story, but it took me a lot longer to get into seminary, to decide to go to seminary. But I, like Peter, from Pensacola. I was born in Mobile, Alabama. We moved to Pensacola when I was 3. And one of the things my parents really stressed was Catholic education. So I attended Little Flower Catholic School and Pensacola Catholic High School, which we can get into more later, but those are 2 influential places in my life and all the people I met in those experiences. And I would say at various points, especially around receiving some of the sacraments, I definitely felt called to be a priest, First Communion, Confirmation. One time in the 8th grade, I actually said to my classmates, I want to be a priest, and they made fun of me. So I was like, well, I'm not going to talk about this again. But it was pretty clear to a lot of people besides me. I was altar serving, very involved in things, involved in campus ministry. And then I went to college. I went to Spring Hill College, Jesuit school in Mobile, Alabama, and still very actively involved. But I wanted to do a lot of different things. I ended up wanting to go into film school. I didn't get in. And so I worked as a youth minister for a year. So God was still keeping his fingers, trying to call me toward him. And there's always this wrestling. I studied theology in college, and always want to make movies and do things like that, but the call was always there, kind of like it's in the back of his head. It was in the back of my head as well for many, many years. And I went to film school eventually. It was a good experience. We'll talk about that some more later as well, but I still felt this nagging. And I got back to Pensacola after 2 years at Florida State University in the film program there, and didn't really know where my life was going. And then a lot of things happened all kind of at once. My sister had her first child, my nephew Dominic, and during that same year, my grandfather passed away. I could have worked in the film industry. I almost got a job at my alma mater, the college, teaching film. A lot of these things happened. I started talking to a vocations director in my diocese, and eventually a job at Pensacola Catholic High School, and then back in my home parish at Little Flower as a youth minister kind of landed in my lap. And I did that for 8 years at that point. I was a full-time high school teacher and a youth minister. And every spring, especially around Lent, I would just get this call, like, I need to go become a priest, or at least entertain this idea of seminary. And it finally took me starting spiritual direction, and actually Peter plays a role in part of the story. And, but I don't want to reveal too many cards early. But he did play a small role, but an influential.
That was the nagging. Peter was nagging the
whole time, because you saw it on the back of his mind.
Peter continues to.
Yes, Peter nags quite well. So that's how he is godlike to me. And anyway, eventually through the spiritual direction and then going on this discernment retreat for our diocese, I said, I need to give this a shot. And it's been kind of like Peter, a yes, yes, yes since then. There have been ups and downs for sure over the past 5.5 years almost, but a lot more doors being opened and a lot more peace in my heart. Kind of my story.
That's awesome.
Yeah. That's it. You're sticking to it.
Peter's sticking to his story.
So,
yeah.
Well,
the gang's all here.
Hail, the gang's all here.
Actually, before that, what is that? Before I get to you with my second question.
Well, what is your second? I think your second question might answer part of it. I don't know. Maybe not.
So I wanted to follow up with, obviously, thank you guys for sharing your story.
Mm-hmm.
And now that you said yes for so many years, both of you now are deacons, how has life been since ordination?
Okay.
Yes.
Oh, it's been fantastic. It's been really cool.
Peter has a lot of fun.
You can finally bang on the ambo. You can proclaim the gospel.
I've done that. Yeah. It's been really cool. It's surreal, really. It's like I think the best analogy is when you were little and you were first starting to drive, right?
Or started fours. I started driving
Bumper car. Push gardens.
Before you get your permit, you get to sit up front with your parents, right? And you get to see, just going from the back to the front seat is like, whoa, it's a perspective change. And it's different. And then you get used to that, and then you get your permit, and you actually get behind the wheel, and everything shifts again.
You forget,
what is going on? And that's kind of you pick up on it real quick after that. But that first moment of you sitting in the driver's seat and actually driving is like, whoa, I've been in the car for so long, but now this is different. This is new. So I think that's probably the best way to describe being a deacon now, and actually not just being an altar server, not just either just lecturing or doing these other things. Now I have the speaking role at Mass. I'm standing next to the priest. I'm bringing in the book of the Gospels. I'm assisting him, very literally assisting him at the altar, moving cups, pouring wine, holding the chalice. It's such a surreal and thing. It's fantastic. So. Yeah, I picked up on things a lot quicker than I thought I was going to.
Yeah, it comes a lot more naturally than I would expect. And yeah, even preaching and things like that. You spend so many years here learning how to preach and doing fake homilies and displays and things, and then you're doing it for real. It's like, oh,
that was easier.
Well, easier is not the right word. It's more natural, I would say. It doesn't feel like an assignment. It's more organic.
Yeah. That's because part of the seminary we do. The homiletics classes, right? We study preaching, what that looks like, different ways of preparing, different styles of preaching that people do. And it's in that preparation, in the practice, it really does feel like it's like I'm giving a speech. Even though we're putting albs on, we're in the chapel, we're with our classmates and we're preaching, but it doesn't feel the same as now after getting ordained, laying on the floor, the bishop giving us this, us being ordained and being given this authority. To now we go in and preach, and it's a totally different it's a totally different experience. Like you really do feel the Holy Spirit in everything that you do. It's almost like a peace that when you go in there, it's like, okay, I'm nervous. There's nerves. There's a lot that's going on and moving. But once the bells ring in the beginning, once that opening song starts, it's almost like, all right, good. It's whatever happens, you go in and it's peaceful. So, wish beforehand that homiletic preparation, I remember my hands are shaking as I'm up there trying to give the homily to my classmates. Every time I say something weird or I say a part of the.
He's really good about counting the number of times you say a word. Like I said ultimately a lot in one of my homilies.
My thing was
and things like that. I listen like.
Yeah.
What's the highest number you've counted?
I had 19 ums in a homily.
You personally or someone else?
Me. Okay. This is just me. That's our last project for homiletics was we watch our first homily that we do here, and then we watch practice. So it's practice homilies to one of the ones we're doing now, and you compare and contrast. You kind of see how much you've grown since then. And I was watching my first one. I was just tallying. Another.
My transition word was now or so, and he counted all of the. It came up a lot. If you need good feedback about that.
Yeah,
there you go.
But yeah, so it's you see those little things like it's cool to see the change, but also there was a stark difference from before we got ordained, where it was like giving a speech, to now actually preaching and giving homilies, and it's a totally different thing, which is just it definitely shows for me. It's like, okay, no, God is in this great way, that this ordination is something very real, and it's an amazing calling, and yeah, it's so
cool. I would just add that I think there's two moments at every Mass that hit me a little bit. And the first is when the deacon is going over to proclaim the gospel. He asks the priest for his blessing, and the priest says, "May the Lord be in your heart and on your lips, that you may proclaim his gospel worthily and well." And like for me, that calms me down, in the moment. If there are any nerves or anything like that, just entering into the grace of that blessing. And he says, in the name of the Father, and of the Son, and Holy Spirit. And then the second part, Peter alluded to this already, but when the priest holds up the chalice, or actually, no, I hold up the chalice with the priest, that's a pretty remarkable moment, because especially when it's a shiny chalice and you can see your face in it and just see yourself in the sacrament, and then we're all part of the sacrament, and it is called communion for a reason, but it's still just, those two moments always get to me a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it sounds like an extremely profound moment. I mean, I'm early in my theological studies here, but I'm taking in class prophets right now. And actually, in the midst of the final, one of the questions is how we in our ministry can sort of adopt this prophetic style of having, this encounter with God and having, that first call into the vocation, the discernment process, and now hearing his message, hearing sort of as what we call the secret, right? God's secret is now revealed to us, and this sort of conversion or transformation happens within us to then proclaim the message, to then have this sort of unspoken experience now audible, something that's concrete, to proclaim to those who are lost or who haven't, been catechized, or who, whoever's in the pews, and kind of like having this realization that how that connects to our vocation and that's every day. Like just in our prayer, this unspoken experience is like, okay, well, now as deacons, God willing, as priests, and us in this process of being able to then proclaim the word,
right,
and have our homily, and to be able to share that. I mean, it's something that obviously I know we're all looking forward to, but you guys are living it now, and so it sounds awesome, a huge blessing.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's cool that, again, you're throughout seminary, right? As this process it didn't just happen at ordination, right? It's a building. So doing this now is what, when you're going home for Christmas break, when you're going home for Thanksgiving, when you're over the summer, wherever you are, it's this process of, as you have been receiving now, and you've been receiving, that we now put this into our lives, right? We're living it out, but also you're speaking it whenever you're talking to people, that you're able to preach now, you're able to be a prophet now to everyone that you meet. So it's not just, it's interesting. The homily is you get like about 10 minutes, hopefully less. Well, for a homily where it's a very direct,
however the Spirit moves.
Yeah, but it's this very directed, pointed thing. in the liturgy, which that's to a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
But it's how much also just in my life now, like I'm seeing the different points of formation, how everything I've learned, even though it's been so many classes, I don't remember, I don't have my notes all everywhere, but how it's been ingrained. Chris has all the notes. He takes such good notes. But I've seen it becomes ingrained in our lives. Oh yeah, it's like, oh wow, it becomes subconscious, right? That all this stuff, which was very evident during pastoral year, which was she didn't have.
hence part of the story. Yeah.
Well, so I think that's a good stepping stone to the next question, which is obviously you guys now share in the diaconate in terms of the year that you are in, and Peter sort of alluded to like, oh, maybe you didn't have a pastoral year. How are you guys connected even before seminary?
Well, hey, the gang's all here.
That's sort of like up to this point, I think people who are listening and see can sort of see the connection that like this friendship here has been way longer than the amount of years you've been together and stuff.
So I've known Peter since 2011. Not very well initially, but I've known him for quite a long time. Yeah.
Who wants to share first?
Yes. Yes. So I
alluded to the high school already.
Yeah.
So
it was from the high school.
I taught Peter Jutras. So, but
you were my teacher.
A wee lad.
Yeah. No, I must have been my sophomore year.
I did.
You got there. Like, I started 2010 at Catholic High School. And yeah, so you went to Catholic High School.
I went to Catholic High. My sister went to Catholic High. My sister still teaches at Catholic High. I taught there for 8 years. So
yeah. And so you went there, then you left, went to school. I showed up 2010.
Yeah.
And then 2011, you came in as a teacher. I didn't have you that first year.
No, but he was an altar server. So Peter probably knew deeper down that he was called at a certain point because he was one of our extraordinary altar servers. He later on his sister and his brother too, but they were the reliable, old faithful, so to speak.
Taught him tears. So Chris taught.
Yeah, so I knew who he was. We probably didn't really interact much.
Yeah, it's not that first year. Yeah. But then the second year, or my junior year, we started, or I don't know who's still
junior year.
Yeah.
We Drama Club.
Yeah.
Oh.
The Drama Club.
Yeah. And the first play that they did was this
Fairy Tale Christmas.
Yeah. Really laughed.
Peter and his wonderful sister Mary, who could conquer the world if she so desired.
Yeah.
They played Hansel and Gretel. Of all the fairy tale characters. Yes. No,
so yes, I believe.
And they had a good dynamic going.
It was great. I had to drag her to do that. She did not want to do it. It was her freshman year. She's 2 years behind me, right? Her freshman year, my junior year. And they were doing this thing. I was like, this is going to be a great way to get Mary involved. And I was sure to do it. This would be so much fun. I wanted to be, I think I started off as, I tried for something else. Tried for. But then Mary, she had to wait for me because I was driving her home. And I was like, no, we should do this. We should do Hansel and Gretel together. Went in and we killed it. Killed the audition. And that's my first line in the whole play is
it your first line? I don't know. That's 12 years ago. Yeah, this is I think is the end. Like all the characters there. You got Cinderella. You got
everyone. Play. And then I come in. Me and my sister Mary, we come in. I'm like, hey, the gang's all here. And
well, how did I tape?
We do have copies.
Here's the clip. No, I'm kidding. See, we could do that now. So we're gonna put a threat. If there's any video, we'll put it. We won't. We're merciful.
Yeah. So that was the start, right? And so Chris directed. You were
I was one of the two moderators,
the mastermind behind all of it.
So he was the director. He
was the master director. So I don't want to take all the credit, but yeah, I was the puppet master director. So as I am many times.
And so you directed us there, and then later on in
The Wizard of Oz.
Oh yeah.
Oz, yes. And between that, though, I also taught him a class. The one class I taught Peter Jutras was app and game development. I don't know anything about video games, but I was the most least qualified person to teach this class. And so, therefore, I taught. Peter was an excellent student. I still have some of his projects from...
Is he paying you to say that?
He is not an excellent student. I said, what? I said he was an excellent.
Oh, come on. Now, now it's up for debate.
That doesn't, Then The Wizard of Oz, which was probably the highlight of those 3 years I was doing the drama club.
Yeah.
And that was like the highest point.
Yeah, that was, we killed it. It was so good. it was crazy how the preparation up to that was insane. But no, I was the Cowardly Lion. That was my breakout role. Since then, again, just down.
Made it to Broadway.
No, it wasn't a musical, but
The skip.
they did have to skip around the entire gym. It was full of people.
That's
Is that recorded too?
Yeah, everything.
Yeah, all the footage.
As much as I tease Peter, I am probably the number one fan at his fan club. So
You're a party of one.
That's about it.
Not a party of four. All of us in.
yeah. We're your friends.
Really? And
Aaron is the stoic silent fighter.
he gave a thumbs up.
There we go.
yeah.
So but that was that first year we did that, and then
I did a talent show.
the talent show. See the talent show.
The murder mystery Blister, where he played Inspector Bogey.
Inspector Bogey.
Inspector Bogey. He was the main character. He had a clipboard. He had a
You had the jacket.
Yep.
Oh,
Yeah, that was
hat. No,
yes, I was.
no. He definitely had a clipboard. He also have that video.
I try to say what
It's got to be behind the scenes for us.
I was going to do. Big C for that was in the midst of that show was crazy because
It was.
in the murder mystery, one of the characters was going to die, right?
It's a murder mystery.
oh, this is a high school family play.
Yeah.
Wow,
Oh yeah. So
The Wizard of Oz, the witch dies.
that's great. That's but she's a bad person.
Okay, spoiler alert.
Murder mystery
haven't
is
seen
good.
Witches.
Oh,
Relatively new.
True. That's true.
So this one character she needed to
oh, so
she needed to die. Everyone left the scene. I was on. Or she was just standing on stage.
Her name was Fifi. This character's name was Fifi.
Oh, so it rings a bell.
There was a kid. She was supposed to walk and leave to go outside. And if she didn't leave and get killed, the play couldn't continue. Oh, because that was an essential cue.
So I'm off stage. I'm waiting for. We're all looking at it, like I gotta go off stage, and I'm like, oh, I'm just standing there. And Chris comes up behind me. He's like,
Because I was watching the play and I was picking up there.
yeah.
So okay.
No, and then you come up to me. He's like,
Peter, go out there and blow up Fifi. So he was very suspicious at that point.
so well, I'm like, all right, and I go out. I'm like, hey, they're waiting for you at the car. Can you go out there and
Improv skills.
it was yeah, I don't know. And then she leaves the stage. Immediately you hear the explosion. Oh my god!
It's like the
you rigged on number one.
You rigged the car.
Pretty much. Well, that was a big that was a big moment.
That's what Peter's good. He's an excellent altar server and MC because he can go with the flow. So that's definitely his skill.
What a way to come back to that. I mean,
yeah, full circle.
Just saying it fits his
No, it didn't.
went through your repertoire of different characters to back to altar server.
right.
Oh yeah. No,
That benefits as well.
that's what
You say the name of my
His autobiography will be Have Cassock Will Serve. So yeah.
yeah,
He loves altar serving. So
I love being on the altar. It's so cool. But that's where I got to know you.
Correct.
Was in that.
And then I taught his sister and his little brother.
Yeah. So, but what was cool with us is that it wasn't like you taught me math or religion. It was all of our interactions in high school was very fun. It's like we're doing plays, we're in app and game development, we're hiring out, we're doing this.
Was selected.
Yeah. So it worked. So then I go off to college. I went to the University of West Florida and studied telecommunications and film there. Not a film degree. It is a film production.
We'll talk about
More TV news.
Yep.
But then, so I'd show up every now and then to go back because my sister was there, and my brother, he graduated. Sister Mary, brother John. Shout out to them. They're great.
shameless plug right there.
I said Mary could conquer the world, and I said that publicly now.
Yeah.
Twice.
So
It's on record.
so I'd be going back, and so I'd see we got pictures whenever Mary graduated, whenever John graduated. I was around. And so the next time I saw Chris, I think was at the discernment retreat.
That was before your brother's graduation, so that adds up, yes.
Yeah. So, because I had been in seminary. I was in seminary. This was my first full year of seminary.
He entered in 2018.
2018, yeah.
This is March of 2019, for whatever reason you did out of that.
Chris, historical chronology.
He came to the discernment retreat.
Correct. And the first person, I opened the door, come in, and I'm late because I had to work that the time challenge and everything.
Gotta write that down.
And everyone else is very,
And are we going there, Peter? And So
The teacher came out right there. He came out right there.
That was really good this year.
are you going there, Peter?
Sorry for Mr. Holcomb.
Anyway, what I was trying to say is, I open the door, and one of the first people I see is Peter Jutras, and we have this awkward exchange, mostly awkward on my end, about what does he call me at this point. He got over the whole thing about not calling me Mr. Holcomb very quickly. It took me a little bit longer, and I think his siblings too as well. But the thing is, like, he was so welcoming, and seeing him was very helpful to me because I had very much intentionally avoided talking to seminarians whenever they were at events. I was working in the diocese for a long time, but it was Peter, and I knew Peter, and I was like, okay, these guys are normal. This is okay, All right. Well,
He called you normal. That's another plot.
we're pretty similar in some ways. Some ways we're like very alike, and in other ways we're so very different. So anyway, it was a very important moment for me when he opened the door and he was there and very welcoming. Because I hadn't told anybody I was going, So I think he was surprised.
We were in the middle of a talk and you guys come in. Yes, I looked up like, is that Mr. Holcomb?
Oh.
And then it was great. Within 2 months, I was in seminary, or applied and everything, accepted. So, yeah.
So yeah, that's how we know each other. And
That's like 5 questions.
That was like, yeah, I'm like, you don't even need us.
We're good because we tie narratives together. We're storytellers.
Exactly. Well,
Right.
Well, what's yes, you do. What's that line? Wow, is it from Frozen? Like, you finish each other's sandwiches. See, how do you like that, Peter?
yeah.
I have just seen Frozen so many times.
I caught you.
Peter, at this point, just let it go.
Oh, there we go.
That's all I can remember.
So, one other question, kind of along the lines of this. As a teacher, I was also a teacher. We all have these stories, these moments of our children in our classes.
Yes.
Is there and any particular memory of your dear student, Peter,
Memory. That's
in your class that it could be perfectly virtuous and like building up his community, or it could be silly?
Peter was a very, Peter, another thing we have in common is that we both won at graduation the Pro Deo et Patria Award, which is the highest honor given to a student in graduation.
Now, for all those out there who do not speak Latin, Deacon Chris will now translate.
For God and country. Yes. Okay. Thank you.
Christopher. He's made it.
A Latin scholar.
That is not.
It is required in Seminary.
Question is about
that we know Latin.
So,
Teachers coming.
the class, I don't have too many stories, but one of the things that I remember being impressed by in the class is he designed a game and a program called Game Salad. And around that time, there was a man who jumped from space and had the parachute. I don't know if you remember, this is around 2012.
Yes.
Okay. And so he made a game where you could control this figure going down. He was avoiding all sorts of, like the Millennium Falcon.
Very important.
Asteroids,
Yes.
meteorites.
The common things in the atmosphere,
Exactly. And then eventually you would land on Earth and then you would win.
Weather balloons.
So that's one big memory I have of Peter, and that class is great.
I won the award for that class.
He did.
Got the best student award.
given by you?
But given by me.
Wow. This isn't favoritism.
No. And this is the odd hand of Providence.
Wow. I was a really good student. Did really well.
Yes. I nominated him for some scholarships and things. I'm trying to,
Did you write his letter of recommendation when you went off to college?
No, I don't think I did anything like that.
You didn't need to. See, you were so perfect already.
The left was taking everybody.
Wow.
I just said, come on, the door's open.
Yeah.
And some teachers was simple.
And that's probably the biggest story. I'll never forget him playing Cowardly Lion, though. There's no specific memory there, but there were a lot of very long nights. We had rehearsal till 8 p.m. one time after school, and there was a lot of hours. And then afterward, when his sister was at some place, he would come in and bring equipment. One time, it was just so helpful. So,
yeah.
Don't ever say I don't say good things about you.
This is great. I'm going to,
This is all
marking down all of
please. Yeah, just
I got you going.
Yeah.
yeah, there's a lot of them. I can't.
Yes.
24 so full.
Well, so now switching, I've never been a teacher. I've only been a student,
Dude,
right?
teaching is so much fun.
How has it been to have Chris as, I'll say like just one moment where you can say, this is how Chris was as a teacher. Like that was like the moment where he's like, yeah, that's a cool teacher.
Or what was your first? Or what was your first impression of him as a?
Oh,
You sat in the room. He came in. You're like,
I think the bit. This was so long ago. Yeah, I think it would be really. I think it's the audition. I think it was the audition with Hansel and Gretel. I think I came up. I don't know if I asked you if. I remember opening the door again and saying, "Hey, I'm going to audition with Mary to do."
Mrs. Mosley, who was the other moderator, was very excited about that.
I was like, I got Mary. I had to convince her to do it. And I was like, okay. I opened the door. I was like, hey, after one of the guys was leaving, I was like, hey, Mary and I are going to audition for Hansel and Gretel. And I think I remember remember your reaction, just like, this is perfect. This is great. What else was there? Maybe I know we do the Living Stations of the Cross at Catholic. And I don't know if
I wasn't really involved in that. I did my own thing in the Little Fire. Yeah, my sister was in charge of living stations.
Yeah, really. If he was just
my sister was the father-sister thing. I'm just saying, I directed him. My sister directed him. Oh yeah, and his sister.
so you are very formed by the whole
family. Any mistakes?
We're very formed. You're just
it's all his mistakes. I know.
No.
I don't think that's really this me.
That's something. I think
this thing called adulthood.
That's what happened
about it one day.
Don't worry. I don't know what that means either.
Exactly.
It's a foreign.
Yeah, it's very odd, but yeah, no, that's. I think. Yeah, that would be my. I vividly remember just going in and seeing your guys' faces.
Class number 205.
Yeah, sitting out in the hallway. Mary was freaking out. It was great, and it worked so well. It was so much fun. That's. I think that's because the class was it was good. It was a lot of fun,
and I was learning it. That was the first time I taught. I taught it maybe 5 times, and so they were my guinea pigs. But
yeah.
Well, that leads kind of into our next question, because you taught film and all of that, and you attended film school. Right. So, how much do you like movies, Chris?
Well, that's a good question. So just give you some background. In college, I studied math and theology, and I really wanted to make movies. From the time, I used to watch documentaries about behind-the-scenes special effects, and this is before computer-generated imagery, CGI, was big. And so these were models and things like that. I was a huge Star Wars fan. There's another connection between us.
That's right.
Oh, 4. And what was that?
4 CGI?
4
CGI is always, right?
Peter, you're only 10 years younger than I am.
Those Toy Story.
This is back when they were still puppet shows in the Middle Ages.
Anyway, I was very interested in the process of making movies. And then I went and saw Jurassic Park when I was 8 with my sister and my brother-in-law, and I was terrified. It had such an impact on me, just seeing that movie in the theater and just being terrified and like watching it like this. And from that time on, I was always fascinated with film. And so it was always in the back of my mind. I got a camcorder at one point for my birthday and tried to make some little films here. And I started writing scripts and stuff when I was about 14, 15. Never really made much out of them besides a few scenes here and there. And then eventually, went to film school, and I had a very collaborative process there. We had it's a production school, so you learn how to do every job on set. You write stuff, you direct stuff, you produce stuff, you serve as the boom op, you do all sorts of things, the grip, which deals with all the equipment and everything, and then, the gaffer, the lighting equipment, the director of photography, and all this other stuff, and you rotate through the job. So I learned a lot. Eventually, I realized the film industry isn't an industry I really wanted to enter, but I certainly do still enjoy film. I think Peter and I have a similar taste in film. I think mine is a little more refined, but very similar.
Very good.
Very similar. I said a little more. We're both like the big blockbuster movies. We're not afraid to say that. So that's all I'm saying. Some people are very haughty about their opinions about film, and they watch some of the movies we would watch together. So, And then eventually I watched the entire American Film Institute top 100 films and things. I like film a lot,
Do you have a favorite film or current favorite?
Top 3. 2 things. I have to make. You should never ask me these questions. If you start asking me about how movies are made, then you'll get me really wound up. But we don't.
Well, I didn't ask that question.
I'm warning you not to. So, my favorite film is a film that many people consider to be a cop-out, but it's true. It's Star Wars: The Empire Strikes Back. So
that is an epic movie.
So that is definitely up. But also,
you're right. I'm sorry.
It's about different
contract.
Yes.
Okay.
I have a lot of different favorite films, but I also don't like. Some people have this is a 5, that's a 4. I don't see films that way.
Okay.
I either like it or I don't. You know, there might be a gradation of how much I like it, but I'm not going to put a number on it.
It's like got
I leave the number from my master grade. I don't bring it into the film. So, yeah.
Wow. Thank you.
So, just one that's like the top.
That's the top.
That's the top of the list. I mean, I love other films. I
Pinnacle.
Kill Mockingbird. I rewatched that, but I also love the book. You know, Ben-Hur.
Oh, that's an epic.
You know, these are all pretty big,
Deserves that title.
big blockbuster. Blockbuster is a strong word, but that's right.
Yeah, not like
Monty Python. Either I like it or I don't. I
Monty Python's pretty neat.
It's very divisive.
Money Tarantino movie.
That's not like no.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Also, I like classic films. I like
Oh, there you go.
Albert Hitchcock.
Hey.
Usually, films are popular because they're good. So I don't think popularity is a vice for a film. Sometimes they can be obscure and good.
So we see here the difference between the wise teacher and the youthful, passionate Padawan who doesn't have as refined a taste in film.
Oh, that's fine. I said we have a lot in common.
A lot in common.
He has a broader base. He'll see any movie.
But you won't defile your eyes with just any movie.
Correct.
Yeah.
I will say this for Peter, when we were both at St. John's together, I would always hear, so we had a common friend, his name was Francesco. Shout out Francesco.
That's right.
That it was always them together or anyone else that would join them to go out and watch movies.
Nice. I bet.
Huge movie. Yeah, the movie pass for EMC.
And the AMC.
Yeah. So these guys would go out like every other day. Movie. Just watch movies. And so I knew from the very, very beginning of my seminary formation.
Yeah.
And this guy likes a movie.
Oh yeah. No, I love it.
What do you love most about movies, Peter?
You see, man, there's so many. If they're funny, I like. Listen, I like going to the movies. I like going to the theater itself because I think that is exactly. I like full experience. I think there's something really like I can watch any movie. Like you can watch anything on Netflix. You can watch anything from your room.
Even this podcast.
Even this podcast, you can watch from your room. But there's a reason that we go to the movie theater, right? Even if I'm going to see a bad movie, right? You're not just going there for the movie, right? You're going to go there.
But this is where our full ideas diverge.
So you're going there you're going there to be with other people. Popcorn, a big screen with popcorn. You have your icy. You got
Priorities.
You're like you're there.
Soda.
You're getting the full
Immersion. You're immersed.
So even when you go, and you're like, okay, maybe this movie isn't as good. Like when I leave the theater, I'm not gonna be like, oh my goodness, I just wasted all this time. It's like, no, I'm here for the full experience. All right, the whole, especially when you're with other people.
I like being with other people. I will eat pop. I like it a lot, but I can go without any stuff
Because you go.
film. I worry more about the projector and things like that.
Yeah.
He worries more about the fluff.
The vibes.
Yeah.
I'm the vibe. Exactly.
Yeah. I don't know what that means. So.
It's more. Yeah.
Oh, you get me.
Yeah.
So my taste in movies is very different. Similarly, my favorite movie, Star Wars. Yeah, I remember there's similar. One of the first
redeeming himself.
one of my early memories.
I said it. There's similarities. You know?
Yeah, we got very similar. Eerily, sometimes.
I see that. Yeah. You're both wearing the same outfits. You both have facial hair. Both have glasses. Same diocese. This is just twins.
It's something. But I remember watching Star Wars Episode 4 on a VHS player on this little TV.
So how old are you, Peter?
This big.
Hey, we had one of those too.
29. We had it on TV. My sister Mary and I would lay down in our rooms and in the hallway by the doors, right? I'd lay in my room, she'd in her room in sleeping bags. We'd have this little TV. It would just have this Star Wars. I would watch it on the TV in our and on the sleeping bag. Just watching it. It would watch again and again and again. And one of the best days ever was when my mom was like, "Oh, there's episode 5 is on there too."
Wow.
I was like, "What?" Well, yeah, you just keep watching through, and there was like a bunch of WWE.
Oh yeah.
God, because you've recorded it on TV.
But that's how I watched.
And then I saw, and I was like, "What?" It blew my mind.
That's amazing.
And that was like my intro into. So yeah,
So I was 3 when I saw the first 3 movies, and I don't have an original memory of them at all.
Yeah, I remember it was so much fun. We'd sit down like Friday nights, we'd do other movies, but it was always we'd watch Star Wars, and it was so good. But I'm not while I went to film, I did a film degree. Mine, while you did the movie route, doing that stuff, I was a much more TV news route. So my capstone class in college was us doing a weekly TV show or a weekly news show where we'd make different news segments. I'd go out with the camera and interview people and make a package, and then we'd work on, I'd either be the lighting guy, I'd be the sound guy, the director doing the cuts like Aaron, I'd be doing different stuff like that. And that was every week we'd have a broadcast. I was the anchor one week, and it was so much. It was cool to see all these different areas of making a news show,
Right.
this live TV. So while you were doing...
Well, see, we were making narrative films, like with the story and characters and all that stuff.
Yeah, mine was like live.
Doing documents.
Yours with theater.
It's much more like...
I did theater. I never went
I had no theater background. I just...
That's okay. It comes naturally to sing.
It does.
Yeah.
So when are you guys going to make a movie?
We've actually made some movies here at the Seminary. Stop.
Yeah,
Wait,
I joined in on eventually.
There's a multi-part
We'll get
series.
those epic series.
Yes.
Epics are different. We talked. It's a different thing. Yeah, Epics are different.
I didn't see that movie.
It's also a musical now. My brother got me into that. Epic the musical, fire. Yeah, what's the music's really good. Yeah, it's about Odysseus and the Odyssey.
Oh,
It's all being done. It's just the audio clips right now. It's really
Battlefield.
Good.
It's really.
really?
Surprised me by throwing in the literature reference there. Good job.
Yes.
Listen, it's because you.
He's also well read.
Take credit, even though it's not. Take credit.
You taught him in some way.
To you that.
Yeah, but if I take credit for the good, I have to take credit for the...
Chris taught me how to read when I was a junior.
That's actually. I believe it.
That's well. So making it full circle.
Yes.
All the way back.
Full circle.
We're gonna go that circle.
You got it.
Yeah, all the way back to our very first question in some capacity. So you're here in seminary. You're going through. You've now made it. You've become ordained deacons.
Yes.
Next year, you will, God willing, be ordained priests. And that you will be laying down your life for the people, not only of the whole church, but especially of your diocese up in Pensacola-Tallahassee. So how does it feel, for one, as you approach this great gift of God that will make you a gift for others? But how do you internalize that for your own diocese so that you can become a gift for them?
You're probably asking the right people that question.
Yeah.
A couple of them.
Just two very qualified deacons.
That's true. I think, there was an experience my second year in seminary where we as not as deacons, as seminarians, we tend to travel together for Holy Week. So we'll all go to Pensacola for part of the week in Tallahassee, and we attend the Chrism Mass and the Triduum at one place or the other. And it was coming back to Pensacola that year because we've been on lockdown for COVID. And I saw so many people I knew because I've been working in the diocese my entire adult life, basically. And just having all these connections that in that period of time where we were in lockdown and we weren't able to really interact with people on a regular basis, to realize I had all these connections, I just felt so rooted in the diocese. And then the second thing that was a moment like that was at my ordination. And I think the most profound thing outside of the ordination itself was looking around. I mean, Peter was there. And it just, Peter's always there. Peter's always there.
Always watch.
But looking out in the congregation and like 20 or 25 of my students and youth group kids were in the congregation. And just there was a period of time in my life where I was really feeling guilt about waiting so long to enter seminary. But then in moments like that, to see this thread of connections with people for decades it's overwhelming, And part of that's having been raised in Pensacola-Tallahassee, being part of the school system as a student all the way through as a teacher, and being very connected already and seeing how God uses all of that together is pretty overwhelming, honestly. And then to lie down on the crest of the diocese and
That's awesome.
That is pretty insane.
Yeah, it's so cool. And going back after having grown up there is really, it's such a great reminder, because here, being at seminary, we're so far away from home. It's you have to travel anywhere from 6 to 10 hours to get back home.
Just a couple.
Just immediately, it's like, it's such a different culture down here compared to there. So it's nice whenever we get these chances to go back to be like, oh, okay, wow, and people remember you. You meet them once or twice and they remember you for they'll come up and talk to you. And it's like every time you go back home, it is going home. Yeah. You get to see people and it's like, wow, this is why I'm here. Like, I'm here to serve you because I love you. I love the diocese. I love the church. Like, I can't wait to be able to bring you the Eucharist, to bring you the sacraments, bring you Jesus in these great ways. It's like I'm so excited. So getting ready to go into that is it's remembering them. I think that's the biggest thing. Remembering that, because they send out, with the Burst Club, they send out all of our pictures.
What's the Burst Club, Peter?
The Burst Club is a group of they help pay for our education here at Seminary.
In our diocese, that's the collection for the education of future priests.
Yeah. That's, you should have just said.
I know. I realize that now.
So, but they send out our pictures, and daily, like so many people pray for us, and that I don't even know. Like I haven't seen all their faces, and so I regularly now I pray for them, because so many people have come up to me at different Burst Club luncheons, at the Chrism Mass, and they're like, "Hey, I've been praying for you." And it's like, just like opens your heart so much. And it's like, this is so great that these people who I don't know have been praying for us for so long throughout this time, that I try to regularly pray for them, and for those people who are praying for me who I don't know, who have my picture and they're praying, right? I pray for them and for their intentions, because these are the people who I'm going to serve. These are the people who I'll be with for this for a very long time, hopefully the rest of my life, being up there with them. It's such an exciting time. And now, after being in seminary for so long now, like we're on the precipice of this. Like we're about to
This is it.
go from being in seminary for 7 years, 6, to then
We're going to talk about
jumping off into the diocese, to a whole new world almost. So,
And I would just say, we often talk about the church, like you're giving your life to the church as if it's an abstract thing that's out there, but it's these people. It's the people, It's the body of Christ, the corporate body, but it's not an abstract reality. It's a real people, real success.
People are real.
Yeah.
And in these times of so part of the formation process, during the summers, you're home, you're doing ministry there, and you get to see the people, right? You get to put faces to the church, this is great. During my pastoral year was like this internship year that you have during formation, to be in a parish, to be ministering there. I was at the Cathedral of the Sacred Heart and in Pensacola, and you get to really put faces to the church. You get to know them, you get to be with them, their families, the kids, the schools, it becomes not just church, it really becomes family and home, which is just,
I love that. That's absolutely awesome.
It's awesome. It is awesome.
So it's coming to that time of the night. Sir, wrapping this up, closing it up. Circle. I have one sort of question-ish to just wrap this up.
Let's say.
So last year, to really preface now your final year of formation, we had a certain debate.
Oh yes, there was.
What's that about? Debate? Would we ever argue something? I think it isn't.
It wasn't an argument. It was a profound conversation.
It was a profound discussion amongst two individuals here.
Possessing core qualities of intellect and rhetorical devices.
I just agree. It's debatable. So we agree. I sort of want to.
Resolved.
So part of it is to sort of put into a picture frame of you two in terms of your last year in seminary.
That's just going to do it.
As sort of your roles in seminary and what has that been like up to this point in the year, but also how does that sort of translate your roles in the seminary? How does that translate to your future priesthood in terms of getting you ready for it? The responsibilities attached to your roles.
Right.
So I'll go to whoever won the debate. You know who won the debate?
I do remember.
Well, not as much won the debate as in.
But it was a landslide.
It was.
I think was pretty.
It was not.
But everyone thought it was going to be.
Well, the election.
But the election itself.
The election was not.
What election are we talking about?
What?
You didn't get some context.
Yeah. It is. So this
every year council.
Oh, so the government. Yeah.
Okay. Sorry for my leading questions.
Yeah. So Chris Holcomb has been elected our student council president for this year.
You sound disappointed.
I was running unopposed for a good 5 to 10 minutes.
It was pretty close. He almost was about to run unopposed when praise God, Grant Senate, our classmate,
aptly named Senate.
Grant the Senate. Deacon Deacon Grant. Deacon Grant's true. I am the Senate.
Well, he is this.
Yes. The I am the Senate is in quotes.
Thank you.
So he nominated me to run against him for the student council president of the seminary. So we had our debate, and
It's an honored tradition for there to be a debate between the presidential and vice presidential candidates, however many there are, 2 to 4. And yeah,
we debated.
In valiant fashion.
I tell you, most of this was essentially just reiterated from the first time we all talked about it, which was during your debate.
correct.
A lot of things were brought up. A lot of Wizard of Oz.
That's true. A lot of this.
Hail, hail, the king told you.
Yes. Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Like in most elections, there were embarrassing photos.
But, we might put some up. Right there. I thought I would. Oh, look at that picture. Spin it up. It's on the video. Aaron's saying it's not going to be on the video.
No cowardly lions were hurt. Get off
the platforms.
But it was fun. That was a lot of fun.
This debate is not very serious.
Of course, yes.
So there were maybe presidential impersonators. There were maybe people in dinosaur costumes.
Amazing. The simple things that happen.
Yes.
And
The actual background really comes to play in these kinds of situations.
Yeah. And I think it was probably the best debate we had.
because of the moderator.
Yes, the moderators were fantastic.
It was information.
It was guys.
And Aaron, like, look at this right there. But myself and Tony, this year's host, we were asked to, for some reason, spearhead the whole debate and really get you guys going. And so
You got us going.
That's nice. So, because I was thinking about it. I figured Chris was gonna run because Chris, has always dreamed about being president. And
Probably years early.
I knew it was gonna exactly.
it's just like
This year probably was gonna be doing this. So I'm glad I got to run. And then afterwards, after Chris won the election, we had class meetings, and my class elected me the class dean.
The class, which includes me.
Yes.
So
So I'm like our class representative.
you're the president of your class.
I'm more the dean of the class. So what's nice is,
he's the dean forever because he's the final dean. And
That is true.
whereas my presidency will be terminating sometime in April.
so
Really?
there's a question here.
Longevity. Like, there it is.
I have more terms than you, Chris. So, but what's nice, and the reason
A term that's stretched out a long time.
what's nice about it is that I get to, for me, because I've never been in any of the student politics and tried to stay away from it.
It's good to stay.
But at the same time, it's like, you know what, this will be good for me going into priesthood, where I'm like, okay, I'm going to be in council meetings and staff meetings and doing a lot of the administration stuff. And I was like, okay, this is going to be a good stepping stone to getting ordained a priest, where it's like, okay, this will prepare me well to go into that as well as it can here.
Give you a good sort of overlook, a background into it.
Yeah.
More responsibilities and different things. I've done plenty of other leadership roles here at the seminary, but never in this type of
Capacity. Yeah.
right in these meetings. Yeah.
Of my 6 years here, half of my 8 years have been in student council.
So has he reigned well?
I nominated him and gladly voted for him.
There you
So
go.
we got Fridays off. I got it. It took me a while. We did it.
What did you do? He does not. Well, I will say he does everything. We are eternally grateful.
Yes. He's pretty much a formator at this point.
Wow.
Let's remember where we are.
Now the crest is lower.
Stop me moving it.
There it is.
Yeah. So that's why I wanted to step in, because I figured this was going to be a good stepping stone for me.
There are so many opportunities to lead in the seminary, and they are all very formative, whether that's because of successes or failures. So it's about embracing the opportunities you have in front of you while looking forward to what lies ahead.
Wow.
Well, that's it. We should end it
right there. So, I mean, we'll leave on that note of looking forward.
On the teleprompter?
No, this has
No, it's in the green screen. You can see it. It's clearly in green.
Yes.
Moving in the bricks.
It sounded great.
Yeah,
It really is.
that's it.
Well, on that note, we have a tradition here on the podcast.
Capital T tradition.
This is a little T. It's a little one. It's a little bit bigger than a little case.
Let's care.
It's like a small capital T. Very small capital T.
Like so small,
It's like a subcap.
where the T you
Exactly.
find in Saint Vincent, that T, it's that small.
No, yeah, almost.
Yeah, that's pretty small.
It's up there somewhere. Right there. It should be right there.
And you look really hard, you squint, and you can see it.
And Aaron is just love it. It's wonderful.
Well,
Small teacher.
the small T tradition starts this way. We're going to all look into the camera over there. The one right there in the middle. Yeah.
That one? No. That one?
That one, right?
That one. Okay.
Yes.
No,
So,
this one.
Here we go.
so we're going to look at the camera and we're going to say the in formation podcast.
There's no verb.
There's nothing.
So it's just
No.
we're in.
We're
yeah,
in,
is it
yeah,
In
Yeah.
the formation.
we are
We're in.
formation.
Oh, we don't say podcast.
No podcast.
We're in formation.
We're already in the podcast.
We are. It's like the multiverse.
In.
Formation. In. I'm sorry. I should. This is what it is. So we're gonna do it. So everybody look at the camera.
Okay.
We are in formation.
Information, a seminarian-produced podcast from St. Vincent de Paul Regional Seminary with hosts Gabriel Campos and Michael Santos. Follow and subscribe to St. Vincent de Paul Regional Seminary's YouTube channel, updates for future episodes of Season 2. And please visit our website at www.svdp.edu/information-podcast for more information about this podcast and to see all podcast platforms we are available.